So, welcome to Great Love and Sex through IFS.
We're having a great time today doing videotape.
Excellent, yes. So, juicy conversation here. My name is Percy Ballard.
I'm Emily Liu, and today we are going to be discussing
what makes a woman attractive. So, we just did a video on what makes a man attractive. Just to say, like, we're aware that there are various preferences that people might have in terms of sexuality, whether they prefer people who are more masculine, people who are more feminine. So I guess we will, talk about what can make a person of a feminine essence more attractive. I will start because I don't typically think about this question because it's like, once someone's attractive to you, you just know. Okay. You don't necessarily have to think about what makes them attractive. Kind of backwards, really examining this. We were talking about last time about what, the balances that make men attractive, what not only gets them in the door, but what keeps the door open. There's a balance of power, which, can open the door, and there's also the tenderness. And you want a balance between power and tenderness. Someone wants to know that someone of the masculine essence can protect them or can have power and can also care for them. Also won't use that power to completely dominate and take advantage of them. They want to feel safe with a person of the masculine essence as well. In this video, kind of thinking about what makes a woman attractive, there are polarities, and I think when we come down to it, no matter what your gender is, what we're talking about really is self-qualities. There's some balance between the confidence and courage, the power, and the tenderness, the receptiveness, the vulnerability or the compassion in a person. You want to be able to see both because you can get into a relationship and feel safe in that relationship with them and want to stay there.
So as a man, then what do you find irresistible and attractive in a woman?
Okay, so there's a similar balance with different characteristics. In a woman, there's a sense of receptiveness, so receptivity in being able to open up and being able to surrender. So you want this person's sex goddess to be present. So that's one element, but you don't want it to be all that's present. Right?
Right.
Because you're right. So there's a balance between receptivity, or the ability to surrender, the ability to be vulnerable, and challenge. So
challenge. Okay, so if I were in my sexy goddess role, I would want you to be the sex god to take charge, because that's the role that we're playing. That's the
okay. If we're playing if you're playing the feminine, I'm playing the masculine.
Yes.
I would want to fully express my power. And you would want to fully express your vulnerability, and that would make some really hot tension.
Yes.
That's a great sexual, encounter, and if we need to, we can flip it. No one necessarily appreciates something that comes too easily. In one sense, we want to be sexual with a woman who can surrender, but we also want to be in a relationship with a woman who's not going to take all of our shit. So
it's like challenge. You say, Percy, what the heck were you doing? Instead of being a doormat, I'm calling you out on your BS.
Yeah, exactly. We want a balance. We don't want someone who's just going to straight be challenging us the whole time. We don't want to be nagged constantly. We also want a woman who can surrender and appreciate us for who we are, but also challenge us and get us to grow. I think that's what makes a lasting relationship, what makes an overall wholly attractive woman, is that yes, there is availability, there's emotional availability, there's sexual availability. A woman is open to us, but also if we're not, as we might have said in the late 90s, if we're not coming correct, then
Coming correct? What is that?
Oh gosh, okay. If we're bullshitting ourselves.
Yes.
Right? If we aren't being our whole selves, if we're just being a mask, if we're being unidimensional, we are in parts and not in self.
Yeah.
We do really appreciate when someone can point that out, when they can be curious about it. Not like a critical, you're just being a jackass right now.
Which is what many women who are not aware of what the spiritual journey of personal growth is about, it's easy to point the finger.
Right.
Instead of zooming out and getting curious and saying, hey, that angry part of you that showed up the other day that didn't want to listen to what I had shared, what's that about?
Yeah.
How did I play into it? So you want to own your part that contributed to that eruption.
Yeah.
Instead of blaming. So you got to get curious. And so what I'm hearing you say is that for a man who is a little bit more conscious, that when you experience that kind of constructive feedback is also what makes you more attracted to the woman. Yeah. Because not only is she feminine, but she also has the power and the courage to call you out on your BS.
Right, exactly. So to point out the parts, or just at least say, you know, if you're going to do it without pointing the finger, one way to do that is that this is how this affected me. This didn't make me feel good when you said that. And that gives me the opportunity to say, oh gosh, you know, that's not what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And so it really challenges me to grow when in a relationship, because when I'm in a masculine moment, I can be really turned on by the availability of someone. The availability, the openness, the emotional vulnerability, the sexual vulnerability that's there can be a real turn on, and that can get someone in the door. But however, what really keeps the door open, what really keeps the attraction coming, is the idea that someone can also really look into me and see, oh, wait a second, that's not really you. And this is how you're affecting me right now. Did you know that? And I'm challenged to grow into being a better individual. And that's what can keep a man attractive, or someone attracted, or someone in the masculine position in a relationship. That's what can keep them attracted to a person. So there's just all of the parts, the one that is willing to express and to say, to speak their truth, and also be willing to listen, to open up, and to surrender. And a balance between those two, you know, maybe expressing one in certain situations and another in other situations, is what really gets both the attraction and respect of someone that you're dating.
So what I'm hearing is that you may be initially attracted to my feminine essence and the sexy goddess that you see, and that attraction invites you into the door.
Yeah.
But if that's all that I am for the rest of the relationship, without owning the power and the courage to call myself out, to call you out when things go wrong, that I'm just a doormat, then that's not attractive.
Right. There's no challenge. I think there needs to be challenge in a relationship. There needs to be expanding one's comfort zones in order for a relationship to really be a turn on and to stay a turn on.
And I can even be provoking angry parts inside of you as I'm calling you out on your BS. So I'm gathering that a part of you could be saying, F this relationship, I can't stand her. But then another part of you is like, but she was right. She was right. There was some truth in what she said. And she's not letting me get away with my masks. And that she's got this tenderness that she could drop into the vulnerability.
Yeah.
So there's all these different aspects of her that's coming out because she's confident in expressing all of her emotions. Yeah. And she refrains from pointing the finger and gets curious. And that's really the key, getting curious and just allowing yourself to express all of who you are.
Yeah.
From your male perspective, what I'm hearing is that you would love to see all the parts of the woman, and that makes it really attractive and irresistible.
Yes. You know, the aspects of me that are attracted to women can really appreciate a whole human being. So there might be some parts that really appreciate a woman's sexuality, and there are other parts that can really appreciate the aspect of woman who can be curious and get me to look inside of myself and help me to grow. So there's a balance between availability and receptivity and challenging and helping me to grow as a human being.
If she challenges to grow as a human being, doesn't that make you feel even more attracted to her, more
Absolutely.
super glued to her? Because although you may not like it when she's challenging you to face yourself in the mirror, to look at the parts of you that are just not performing up to par, there's a part of you that may want to say F you, but then another part of you is like, this is a gift. And because of that conflict, it seals the emotional connection.
Right, right. There's a dynamicness to the relationship.
It's never boring.
And both are very healthy aspects of the relationship. To have that warmth and tenderness and gentleness, and also a little bit of curiosity and challenge that's there as well.
Yeah, and I think that as a woman, because I am a feminine essence, I don't want to be ruled by my power part, because that's not my natural essence. My power part, my mission, my passion, that's my work to support myself, and that's what I gotta do. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to relax into my feminine essence for a masculine essence person to really receive me. And I'm okay with getting into my masculine parts, but I don't want that to dominate the relationship.
Right.
I would want you as the masculine person to be leading with more of the come on, this is what we're gonna do, all right, let me take you on this adventure. Because I want you to take the lead.
Right, and different people are going to gravitate towards different roles in this relationship.
Yes.
So, as an individual, there are some individuals that are definitely more flexy in terms of where they want to spend most of their time, in the power aspect or in the vulnerability aspect. So I've talked with a lot of people as far as what people find attractive, and also just doing the research on the web. It's like, there's a power aspect, there's a powerful aspect of a human being, and also a vulnerable aspect of a human being, and having both of those can be a huge turn on. And expressing different parts of you at different times, you just want to embrace the whole you.
And this is like two people dancing the tango. To be fluid. It's like, oh, okay, he's in that power part, so let me see. I don't want to butt heads with him with my power part. Sometimes I could create the sexual tension, but you also have to be okay with relaxing it and let him win the argument.
Right.
For just to say we agree to disagree, etc. Whatever. But it's that dance, that intricate dance. Let's try not to dance with two left feet.
Right.
Let's try to meet where the other person is. And it's that dance of intimacy that can be really sexy when you are able to bring out all the parts of who you are, and you could be that chameleon depending on the situation.
Right. Cool. Does that feel clear?
Yeah, that feels clear to me.
Excellent. Cool. Well, if it's not clear, do feel free to ask questions. Our email address is greatloveandsex@gmail.com, and you can also post below. Feel free to contact us. We would be happy to answer any questions in the form of video.
Take care.
Take care.